Greetings, champions of the light, and welcome to Oathbound, a brand new World of Warcraft Burning Crusade challenge, where honor and justice and worthiness define every step of our journey. Can we reach level 60 while maintaining our sacred oath? Meet our holy human paladin. We must walk the path of worthiness in a world of darkness. Welcome to Oathbound. Before we begin, please consider liking and subscribing. It's the best way to show your support. And with that out of the way, let us begin. We begin our journey, actually on the character selection screen, where I am prompted to use a level boost to get to level 58. This would seriously help our challenge, but a holy paladin like me will not be tempted by corruption. And so we speak with Deputy Wilhelm, who offers us a quest to speak to Marshal McBride. Marshal McBride blesses us with 40 experience points. However, his next quest asks us to kill 10 kobolds. And this presents our first issue. For as a paladin of the Holy Light, we must always follow the sacred oath. We must spare lesser creatures, and we can only fight worthy foes. And most importantly, we must never bring dishonor to ourselves or others. And what does this mean, my friends? Well, you see, as part of this challenge, in proving our worthiness to the Holy Light, we are only permitted to do battle with creatures that are at least 3 levels higher than ourselves. Creatures like this kobold laborer in the Echo Ridge mine. It is an orange level threat, or as what I like to call it, an omega level threat. And as we engage with our first enemy, it is quickly clear that a level 1 has no business doing battle with a level 4. And yet we persevere, and where a typical warrior would have likely perished by now, thanks to the Holy Light. That's right, it is literally called the Holy Light. We are able to regain our health during the battle, and best the fiend. And what do you know, a melted candle. Now, my friends, at level 1, the earliest available worthy foes are level 4s, and so I hang around in the Echo Ridge mine, 1v1ing these kobold laborers, and thanks to all the enemies in this mine being passive creatures, at least at this stage I don't have to worry about being ganged up on. And what do you know, a pair of flimsy chain boots. A beautiful upgrade for a paladin like me. This will surely increase my survivability in such a dangerous challenge, and it's not long before we reach level 2. Now, my friends, you might think that it is a great success that we have reached level 2, but you would be very wrong indeed. Leveling isn't actually that much of a good thing in this challenge, and despite the mood lifting when I come across a chest full of 18 coppers and a ragged cloak, the truth is, my friends, I now cannot continue my adventure in Northshire. The highest level kobold here is level 4, which is only a yellow level threat. I discover that even the bandits are not worthy foes for a paladin like me. And without even having enough coin to purchase an upgrade, I instead opt to venture into Northshire Abbey. And luckily, for a cheap price of just 10 coppers, I am able to purchase Devotion Aura, which will passively give me 55 additional points of armor. To put that in perspective, my friends, is a similar amount of armor that I gain from wearing these flimsy chain boots and this ragged leather belt. And although I find a quest from Falcon Eisenstrider, I set my Hearthstone to the Lion's Pride Inn, and encounter one of the biggest problems of this challenge. All of the quests that I would otherwise do, well, let's just say I'm not high enough level to collect them. And at level 2, the weakest mob that we can do battle with is a level 5 creature. Luckily, my friends, I do come across this level 5 Stone Tusk Boar, and although I take quite the beating, I do succeed, and I receive a chunk of boar meat. And for the time being, my friends, I stick to the level 5 creatures that dwell within the Elven Forest. I take on another boar, receiving absolutely nothing. And if you think about it, my friends, in my current state, my goal should be to earn as much coin as possible, so that I can purchase upgrades to my abilities and new equipment. to aid me in battle against these Omega level threats. Next up is a forest spider, and it's clear that without the holy light, I would simply be outmatched. Fortunately, the poison that it infects me with is not that strong, and I receive a forest spider whipping worth 5 whole coppers. And in a journey like this, I need to quickly discover which creatures give the most valuable loot. Because if I level too quickly, without the coin to keep myself fully upgraded, I will be at a severe disadvantage. And so I venture down to the Muckler Vineyards, and I specifically target the level 5 boars. And it's certainly possible that the early levels may be some of the most challenging. But it's not long, my friends, before I hit level 3. And you may be thinking that this is good news. And you are completely right, as now I can finally hunt down the level 6 boars, as my chance of death is vastly increased against a creature 4 levels higher than myself. And what do you know, a broken boar tusk, worth a whopping 6 coppers. And as I'm leveling quite quickly and I still haven't earned much coin, I decide to do battle against some of these kobolds around the Fargadeep mine. For 8 coppers, that's quite generous indeed. And would you look at that, a loose chain vest, a very powerful item indeed. And although I cannot equip it, that is a lot of armor for a paladin like me. And it's difficult for me to decide whether I should hold on to this item or vendor it for a whopping 58 coppers. We are really going to have to manage our budget, as the kill quests that would typically give a lot of coin are only accessible to us so long as the creatures in the kill quest are at least 3 levels higher than ourselves. Ultimately, I run out of kobold fiends that aren't level 5, and I take the opportunity to use this fence post here to buy me a precious second, allowing me to heal more effectively. Because it's true, my friends, as I reach a higher level, my holy light spell, well, let's just say it doesn't hit quite the same anymore, and I am routinely finding that I have to cast multiple holy lights in a row. And as you know, my friends, mana is a precious resource in classic World of Warcraft. I visit the weaponsmith, and I excitedly look for my next upgrade, only to discover that it costs a whopping 6 silvers. I vendor my brittle webbing, and after repairing, it only leaves me with 66 coppers. And the higher level I get, if I don't get an upgrade soon, the more I am going to struggle. And I'm dismayed to find that even the Defias bandits only have a couple coppers to spare. At this rate, I will outlevel them far before I can obtain a new weapon. And I'd be going up against level 8 creatures with a wooden mallet. And that is certainly not good enough for a paladin like me. Yo, hey there, Bradbun, what's hoppin'? Oh, perhaps I should try battling these fish fiends, the fabled Murloc. 5 copper, not bad. Perhaps I will have more luck with this Murloc. And what do you know, a shiny seashell, worth a whopping 18 coppers. Very lucrative indeed. Unfortunately, these other Murlocs, well, they are level 7, and so I hunt a few more regular animals. Every battle requires my full attention. If I miss too many hits, or the wolf crits too many times, I could perish, especially with such a level difference. But soon I hit level 4. And I decide to return to Goldshire, where I discover that I am able to pick up a quest to collect 10 gold dust. And inside the inn, William Pestle offers me a quest to collect 8 large candles. And just as I am about to leave, this kind elven druid blesses me with the Mark of the Wild. And as I visit the paladin trainer, I discover that there are 2 abilities that I could learn, but both cost 95 coppers. And I only have enough coin for one. And so I pick Blessing of Might, as I am sure at this stage it is probably more useful to a paladin like me. And with just 28 minutes remaining on the druid's Mark of the Wild, I decide to venture towards the Jasperlode mine. You see, my friends, the Fargadeep mine is where adventurers would typically collect their large candles and gold dust. But as the Fargadeep kobolds are only yellow creatures, I need to venture to the higher level kobolds to the north of the forest. and despite them having a pretty nasty debuff that they apply to you, where they puncture 50% of the little armor I actually have, I am successful, and I not only loot a candle for the quest, but I discover a flanged mace, a one-handed weapon with more power than my two-handed weapon. And as I engage another miner, I quickly realize that I completely forgot about weapon skill, and I need to level up this one-handed mace as quickly as possible, so that I don't lose this battle. And what do you know, not only another large candle, but my first ever bag, a small brown pouch. And this will surely come in very useful for a paladin like me, as I intend on reaching level 5, and perhaps doing some gathering professions. On the Burning Crusade realm of Dream Scythe, there are far more adventurers playing the game, and so making use of the auction house and economy may be very advantageous to great effect. And so we continue hunting down the Jasperlode kobolds, and ultimately I clear the lot of them, and I have no choice but to delve into the entrance of the Jasperlode mine, as all of the respawns outside, well, let's just say they respawn at level 6. Most unfortunate indeed, they are unworthy foes for a paladin like me. I even make some daring attempts to do battle with the kobolds in the mine, and after enough successive misses and parries, I have no business battling these high-level fiends at my current level, and I can only imagine how terrible it would be if I accidentally aggroed an additional enemy. Eventually, my friends, I realize that if I want to get past these level 6 kobolds, which I'm not allowed to do battle with, I am going to first have to get past this level 8 wolf. And because it is an omega level threat, I actually am allowed to do battle with it. Unfortunately, it soon becomes apparent that I have made quite the blunder. It hits hard and it hits fast, and it even parries my swings repeatedly. And despite a few close saves, eventually the wolf does me in. I seem to recall perishing in the first episode of my last challenge. That, by the way, my friends, when I first posted that video 4 months ago, I had no idea it would have grown as popular as it had. And it was the success of that, my friends, which led to a 21-episode series, which I am pleased to say has grown this channel considerably. And I'd thank you all for watching. But this episode isn't over yet. It's clear that the vast majority of you wanted me to do this new challenge. And considering that we are not actually on hardcore WoW, that means death does not actually mean delete. However, my friends, in order to make it so that dying actually matters, here is exactly what I will have to do every time I perish. I will always have to release at the spirit healer that I have spawned at. Following this, I will open my character panel, and yes, I have to delete every item that I am wearing, including the weapon. And even for good measure, I will delete that shirt. And you think that's it, my friends, but no, it is not. Any item on my person, with the exception of the Hearthstone, and items that are purely quest items, must be deleted. Now, my friends, you're probably wondering how in blazes am I actually going to recover from this setback. It was hard enough before. If I am only allowed to do battle with orange creatures, then with just my bare hands there is no way I can possibly defeat one now. But, my friends, I am in a unique situation, you see. And that situation is that I have absolutely nothing left to lose. So I run to the Fargadeep mine, and I barrel my way through it until I get completion for scouting the Fargadeep mine. I resurrected the spirit healer, but as I have nothing left to throw away, it isn't really much of a punishment. I turn in the quest to Marshal Dukan, and receive a healthy dose of experience points, and quite a bit of coin. And what do you know, Marshal Dukan, seeing my plight, directs me to scout the Jasperlode mine, a level 10 quest that is actually orange for a paladin like me. And so I make my way over there, and I am happy to discover that someone has already cleared these Jasperlode kobolds. And it's not long before I get credit for this quest as well. I release once more at the spirit healer, and I turn in the quest, and I am now level 5. And I have a whopping 6 silvers and 3 copper coins. Now, my friends, we are at a great level. This is a milestone if you ask me. Because although we are certainly in no shape to do battle with any orange enemies, we can make our way towards the Grand Stormen City. And I am glad to see that Burning Crusade is far more populated than the Forgotten Realm of Doomhowl. Oh, and what is this quest, my friends? I swear, I have no idea what this is, and I certainly didn't buy any store mounts, my friends. I would never do such a disgraceful thing. And sure, I could probably load up the old Internet Explorer and find out what this item is all about. But I dare not even claim such a corrupted item. Please comment below if you know what in blazes that is. Anyway, the reason we were actually here is to train herbalism. But not just that, my friends. We venture to the Dwarven District, and we come across the mining trainer, and we purchase ourselves a mining pick and train mining. If we want to continue this challenge and continue doing battle with level 7 foes, we are going to need some upgrades. And the only way to afford these, my friends, is to make some coin. And so that is what you can expect in the next episode. Hopefully we don't perish with any of our valuables on our person. I'll have to make sure we store them in the bank, as anything in our bags could be forfeit. Thank you again, my friends, for watching, and if you enjoyed this episode, please let me know in the comments below. And always remember, my friends, light be with you.